shipped our bikes over to Australia. We got them shipped into Brisbane and we've picked them up and we've ridden all the way up to Cooktown, just up by Cape Tribulation. And we're now heading back down the east coast, back to Brisbane, and then beyond that to Sydney. We're currently in Airlie Beach. As you can see, it's a classic 27 degrees in the tropics, which we're enjoying, getting out of that cold New Zealand winter. So join us as we ride the east coast of Australia on our 2017 Harley Davison Road Kings.
Over to take a layer off. It's getting very hot and I've realized that the GoPro has not been recording sound since we arrived in Yeppoon. The cable came out there and I saw that it was out, but because we've been using the dual mic, it bypasses the adapter. So I was thinking we didn't need to have it plugged in. So all the commentary that I've done since Yeppoon has not been heard. And that's just a bit frustrating. Especially on the back of, for the first 3 days we couldn't get any sound, because we didn't realise that we needed the adapter wrapped in tin foil to shield it from the engine. Anyway, we've just left Mackay, so we've got the footage of that. And I was explaining that Mackay is named after one of the old pioneers who discovered this wider region of the Pioneer Valley, and that's how the town came to be named Mackay after him. He was an early settler, but the very first white man in this area was Captain Cook, who brought the Endeavour into the port. And the botanist Joseph Banks actually recorded, when they came ashore, a sighting of an Aboriginal person, and it was the first time that the Endeavour, any crew member on the Endeavour, had ever spotted an Aborigine in Australia. So this big plant here will be a sugar refinery. This is the third one we've been past. It's a sugar mill, and it's coal-fired. It might be a distillery. I'm not sure what the difference of it all is, but Mackay is the fourth biggest producer of sugar in Australia, and it's a big export. And all these fields here on the left and just everywhere that we're riding around here is all sugarcane, and they've got a railway system all set up to carry it to the refineries and the distilleries. So sugar is the mainstay industry of this whole region. Mackay is a city that's on the Pioneer River, which is a big tidal river. And I guess it's like London, with the Thames being such a tidal river. They're at risk of storm surges that come in from this eastern seaboard. millimeters of rainfall in 24 hours up in this area up here called Finch's Hatton. And that much rainfall combined with the storm surge totally flooded out Mackay, the city of Mackay. And then exactly 40 years later, in 1958, exactly the same thing happened. They had tremendous rainfall up here. It all flowed down through the catchments into Mackay. There was a storm surge. And the town got completely wiped out again. And then exactly 50 years later, in 2008, it happened again. So now they've built a big levee along the river where the town runs through. So I hope that they've invested enough to prevent that happening again, because to get full floods in 100 years is a bit rough. But 3 has been unlucky. But this is the cyclone area of Australia. We're further enough north now that we're part of the tropics. We're no longer subtropical here. This is the tropics. So we're sort of on the same latitude as New Caledonia and Fiji. And just like those Pacific Islands get battered by cyclones sort of between December and March, so does this area. And those cyclones bring monsoon-like rains. I mean, what town could cope with 2 meters of, or 1 to 2 meters of rainfall in 24 to 48 hours, you know? So it would just be so hard for any town to absorb that much rain. We're not too far south of Innisfail, which is another town that got completely wrecked in a cyclone a few years ago. It was one of the worst cyclone damaged towns that I've ever seen in Australia. So it's just part of the environment that they live in. So we're taking an alternative route here to head north. We're on the road to Proserpine, which is a place we've been to before. Actually, when we were there before, we did a crocodile tour. We went up the river on a steel boat, and just to look at how many crocodiles were just lazing around on the muddy riverbanks. There were so many, and they were so damn big. So we know from experience that this is croc country up here. There's a river down there. You can see all the trees that have been wiped out high up on those banks. These river systems must just fill up so dramatically. Anyway, I hope that the GoPro is catching sound now. I've been very frustrated with it to have missed out on 3 days of audio. Has been disappointing. It takes a reasonable amount of effort and skill to talk and ride, especially, you know, in unfamiliar country. It's not so bad when I know I know which way we're going and how long it's going to take, etc. It's a lot of energy to talk, and that's now 5 days I've done that, and none of it's been captured. Really is disappointing. But the first 3 days was a technical issue which GoPro should fix. That was the adapter not being shielded, and it should be, because anybody that wants to put their GoPro on anything that's got an engine, and if they want to use the external mic, they need this adapter for the Hero 5 Black, and as soon as they use the adapter, it picks up all the static from the engine. So people on quad bikes, people, I don't know, maybe even in their cars, I don't know, because some engines are insulated apparently to prevent this static interference. But this motorbike anyway, isn't. Apparently the Ultra Glide, which is a very similar bike to this, but it's got a built-in stereo system, that doesn't create the static, because it's got a radio, it's got all that shielding built into it. So anyway, that was a technical problem, and it took a while for us to figure out how to fix that, but that was Stuart's brainwave, to wrap the adapter in tin foil. But I've got to say that since we arrived in Yeppoon, I saw that plug hanging out, and I thought, should that be plugged in or shouldn't it? And I just didn't do anything about it, and that's for two reasons. One, I got confused about whether we needed it with this mic, because for the dual mic we bypassed the adapter, but also because now the whole adapter's wrapped in tin foil, I just became unfamiliar with what it looks like, and yeah, I've got to take it on the chin for that one. I think it's my fault. Anyway, let's hope there's no more technical problems. We're heading we're sort of heading into the Austraila Scenic Park. Here's a sugarcane processing area, loading it onto the train. Kind of looks like little stalks of oats or wheat or something. It's a very, very dull, cloudy day, and it looks like it might be wet through these hills, but it's actually very warm, very humid. So the riding is pleasant. Road through the hills has become a reasonably small road. Nice and windy. We haven't seen any windy roads for a few days. Here's a sugarcane truck. Like riding in New Zealand. It's a pretty narrow road though. I think this is where all the rain falls that flows down to Mackay. I guess this is where it all gets dropped up on the hills. Very sugarcane trucks coming through here. The roads are quite wet. I'd say we've just missed some rain, which has happened a number of times before. We've been very lucky in that regard. We're down to a single lane now. This feels like quite intrepid riding. We are right out in the bush in the tropics now. This is a landscape we haven't really seen before. These pretty tight cornered roads and sort of bush covered hills in the background. Really does feel like we're getting much more into the rainforest environment. Presumably we do a right here and get back on the highway. That was a great detour. See, the road just runs out there. What I visualise when I think of Australia, because it looks so green, and yeah, this really does feel more like New Zealand through here, and it's nice. Place here called Burdekin. We're 100 k's out of Townsville. It's been a bit of an endurance ride. We've been on the road since 10 o'clock. It's now 2:30. We had a quick stop in Bowen for lunch. We've been riding under pretty grey skies all day, and we've just ridden through some torrential rain, but we've popped out under sunnier skies, so that's good. But after we'd ridden through the heavy rain and had popped out the other side into brighter skies, I looked back, and in my rear vision mirror was the most beautiful rainbow. So it sort of felt like I don't know, like a reward. It's a train on the left here full of sugarcane. Big sugar refinery on the right. I guess this train is lined up ready to go into the refinery. Got about an hour of riding to go. What a huge floodplain. That's incredible. And I can smell the sugar refinery behind us. The wind is blowing this way. That's amazing that this plain can get so full of water. All those trees are all bent over. I think Cyclone Debbie was the last big storm to come through here, and you can still sort of see signs of it.